Hello,
Hey, I'm Sam,
I'm Matt.
and
We are doing Season 9, Episode 6, The
Woman Who Lived.
Woman Who Lived. Now you'll notice something about my tie.
Yeah?
You'll notice the color of my tie.
Oh, purple, the color of death. I can't believe he said that.
That was such a terrible...
What does that even come from?
I have no idea. I didn't know purple was the color of death.
It's like, but he's like, he's got the Dr. Wisdom thing going on, so when he says bullshit, it's supposed to be true.
I mean,
But
even
like-
if, like, it's a symbol, like, symbolically is purple the color of death, because
In every culture?
it's not the case in our culture.
Yeah, not every alien culture combined.
Yeah, and, like, but in this case, the purple literally was the color of death.
So, I got the sense you really liked this one.
I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
You have any issues with it?
Nothing really that's a deal breaker, particularly.
Yeah, nothing. I didn't really have any. I can't think of anything where, aside from like a silly line like that.
Yeah.
I mean, some silly lines like that. Maybe the magical MacGuffin was a little weird.
Yeah. I also continual problem for me hearing Capaldi talk during tense scenes where people are screaming.
And the sound, also the quiet moment, like at the end.
Yeah.
Like he was talking to Ashilda. Oh wait, her name isn't Ashilda now. It's me.
It's me.
Lady Me.
Oh my god! When and then she was actually called Lady Me, and I just cracked the hell up because I thought she was just making a point, but her character, Maisie Williams' character, actually just calls herself Me.
Yep. Introduce herself as, "Hi, I am Lady B." We're recording this late by our standards.
Yeah. These things happen.
Sam had to travel to New York to be murdered.
Yep, I got murdered, so we're a little late to the party, but it's a good party, and we're glad we're here, even though most of the good snacks are gone.
Yep. Well, there's some Fritos here. You want there's some Fritos left.
Thank you.
Yeah. There we go. Mm. So,
I think, should we talk about the episode as a whole?
yeah.
Since we were sort of talking about it. It's an episode that depends on Maisie Williams, and now she has a character.
Yeah,
Completely different from
totally.
last, which is a point
lot-
of the story.
In a way, a lot, kind of not unlike Arya Stark, but not at all like Arya Stark at the same time.
Sure.
In that they're both people who have had sort of their humanity stripped away.
And have seen people die and have had their home lost.
At the same time, Arya always seems to be sort of overwhelmed and a little bit. Even when she's in control, she's sort of like, she doesn't seem like she's really in the exact place she wants to be.
Yeah. Well, I'd say that's the same for this character.
Well, this character is maybe... I always felt like this character knew what was going on and was happy to be, and was able to deal with it. Whereas Arya always seems to be sort of at the edge of her rope, at the end of her rope. This character's fallen off the rope, so to speak. And so at this point, even though we just did, it kind of does become unfair to compare her to Arya, because she is not the same person.
Yeah.
She's even not that much like Ashilda had been last episode.
Yeah. Well, as they make a point of.
Yeah, but like that is the entire point, that she has changed a lot over centuries.
Yeah.
800 years to 1657, which means that the first story had taken place in 857.
Okay. Yeah, so the story depends on Maisie Williams, and she kind of kills it. I think she did a good job.
Kills it in a good way.
Yeah.
Carries it, like, yeah.
Carries it in a good way.
I agree 100%. You know what I really liked about this story?
No, I don't.
Maisie Williams came across to me like kind of a standard Doctor Who villain, really.
Yeah.
Like a lot of we've seen episodes where there's going to be a character like Maisie Williams here, like who's very, who's sort of like wants a thing we can understand them wanting, but is
Yeah.
killing people to get it, and the Doctor's like,
It's the famous thing. Oh yeah, like season 1 of the new series with the slimy person who just wants to get back home and is going to kill half of the world just to do it on the magic surfboard.
Yeah, and
things like that.
Yeah.
You see it a bunch.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, this character almost doesn't. This story, you could watch this story not having seen S.H.I.E.L.D. in 857.
Yeah, it's weird. We come in medias res, but that kind of feels right.
And
especially because there's stuff that we'd skip that we didn't know coming into this, even having seen the last episode, like that the Doctor has been following the immortal girl through her timeline.
Yeah. Like, all you really need to know is that this is a person the Doctor encountered in the past and did something that made her immortal, and there's a second immortality potion.
Yep.
Whatever, and that's it. That's all you need to know. This is it's brilliantly written, I felt.
It's pretty tight.
The dialogue was snappy and good. I've noticed something else about the Doctor that I'm going to get back to later.
Yeah?
And I've noticed, having seen both our podcasts and our videos, I'm going to get back to this later, appears to be my catchphrase. And I never do it. But she's very standard as a Doctor Who bad guy, that I could have seen this as a standalone episode and thought it was alright. Like, I would have still enjoyed it. But the fact that I saw her previous thing, and there was this connection, not just to the Doctor, but to me as well, makes it a more touching story. And so she redeems herself, and that kind of makes a little more sense.
Yep.
You know, in a standalone, she probably would have somehow had to sacrifice herself or whatever. But
now, if Shielda had been a little worse in part 1, and she wasn't brilliantly written in part 1, as we said.
Yeah.
If she'd been a little worse, it might have diminished the effect of this story. But I liked her just enough, and it probably coasted a little bit on me liking Arya Stark.
yeah,
But it worked.
Yeah,
Having the background
Yeah.
made a big difference. Because
Yeah,
before
even
she's
if I
like
had-
this other person, and it's disconcerting to see her just completely different.
yeah. And even if I hadn't liked, S.H.I.E.L.D. at all in the first one,
Yeah.
at least I would have seen that this was a story where I would have seen him encounter her. So it doesn't just sort of inform to hit him hard, it also hits us, because we know that this person has encountered them.
Yeah.
And this story was well carried out.
Mm-hmm.
There's really not a lot of it for us to say, because usually we could be like, well, here's what they needed to focus on, to change it, to focus on the theme, to focus. It was tight, it was smart, I thought it was great.
Yeah. They're the frustrating episodes that are so wrong you don't even know where to start. There's the fun episodes to tackle, which are wrong and have a lot of places to look at. And then there are these ones where there's not so terribly much to say.
Yeah.
Like, it was funny.
Very fun.
Capaldi was in top form, and so was the writer at the beginning, when he just shows up during a robbery and doesn't seem to be particularly into the whole getting robbed thing, and is even a little bit confused about it.
He doesn't know what a robbery is.
He's a little bit busy, so he doesn't have time to be robbed.
She tries to shoot him, and he's like, I'm sorry, were you talking to me? I'm sorry, I promise I'll pay attention. There's like, she's trying to shoot me, because like, yes, sorry, I said I'd pay attention, but again, that time, but basically I didn't.
So I thought, talking about the story,
can't we share? Isn't that what a robbery is all about?
But so they've got the immortal character played by Macy Williams. Me.
Yep.
Not me. Her.
You're played by Maisie Williams?
Oh,
so a lot of prosthetics going into this performance.
But she's she's immortal, and they do a good job. We've seen immortals in other fiction before, I assume.
Other Doctor Who before.
Doctor Who before, but I'm sure my audience has seen a fair share. And you want a little bit extra, a little bit of a different slant. And I like how she masters things. That's the thing. She's taken it upon herself. Yeah?
The like 8,000, you need 8,000 hours to become a master of anything. Kinda not really true. It's more like you need about 6,000 hours, and then you will get to the point where you're as good as you're going to be. But if you go another 4,000 hours, it only helps if you've got like a trainer, if you're working on identifying your problem, got someone identifying your problems and working on them.
Sometimes you need to work smarter too.
Yeah, and after
sometimes
like
you simply
4,000
don't have the materials and are in the situation to get better or something.
And after like the 4,000 hour mark, the 4,000, 6,000, I think it was one of the two. That's the point where you will no longer really be able to notice your own problems.
Interesting.
Or like where basically unless you really focus on the issues, just practicing isn't going to do anything.
Yeah. I'm not really familiar with this. I assume this is an approximation, not some really bizarre psychological
Well, I mean, this
thing.
was an approximation based on studies of people and how they develop skills, so it's not pulled out of your ass either. But I'd like to believe, for her argument, 100,000 hours, you will be the best in history at anything. I mean, who in real life has 100,000 hours to devote to anything?
So we can't prove that she's wrong, that she could have said 1,000,000 hours, it would still be totally fine.
I don't think she would have lived 1,000,000 hours yet, I don't know. I'd have to...
No, I'm sure.
Anyway.
We could do some math at some point. Anyway, so she's got her thing. She's distracting herself. She's very not self-righteous. Sorry, what's the term? She's
Confident.
And
Well, here's another thing I like, because a lot of times when a character is immortal and does the immortality sucks thing, it's really angsty.
Yeah.
And for all
she's
of
really trying her best.
For all of her for all of the way immortality sucks, she isn't angsty about it.
Yeah, again, she's trying her best.
Yeah. I think that what's really worked for her there is that, like, it's not like, oh, immortality is endless pain. I'm in endless pain. It's sort of like, immortality sucks. People die. So why? Instead of like, immortality sucks. People die. I'm always losing everyone, and it always hurts. She goes to immortality sucks. People die. Ugh. Well, what am I gonna do about it? Who cares if I shoot this guy? He's gonna be dead in a minute.
Yeah. It's like, she's trying to be in control of it. Control of the fact that it sucks, so that it won't feel as bad. Which I think is more believable than, woe is me.
Yeah.
Which you sometimes see. She's, it's really tough if you own up to that, if you make it part of you, that sort of cynicism.
Yeah,
you can bear it more.
Yeah, that immortality sucks, woe is me is probably going to be, would probably hypothetically be at like when you're like 200, 250 years old, you'd be there. But once you're like 800 years old, it's not going to keep bothering you.
Probably not. Hard to know for sure.
You're not going to.
But what's important is that I believe that she would be like this, and I think it feels more realistic to me anyway. That she would.
And that she was basically consciously trying not to care was very interesting, I thought, because the later point where like the town is being attacked,
and she's like, "Oh shit, I care."
He's like, it's like, we've got to help him. He doesn't care. I care. Oh my god, I care. And he's like, yes, it's horrible, isn't it?
that was great.
You try not to care, and then you fall off the wagon. And that kind of ties into.
It's great. It also ties into Capaldi.
Yeah, I've been feeling about his character. But let's just, I guess, run down the story for you in case there's anything really that will jump out at us about it.
I don't think we need to take much time because we've already.
Yeah.
There's not
largely said what we were going to say. Aside from like I could go into the fact that probably 30 pounds would not be enough to stake your job. Maybe 30 pounds is probably it's a lot, but it's more like that's like $6,000.
Yeah,
that's good money. Probably not going to carry you that far.
The reason I think that we don't need a huge synopsis, although do it definitely, is because mostly the story is Macy Williams and her attitude towards immortality, which is what we've been talking about. It's not a bunch of tiny little details.
Yeah, the only reason I want to go down the story is just in case anything pops out of me when I'm resummarizing.
Yeah.
Resummarizing. good sentence, Matt.
Hit me with your best shot.
Oh! It opens. His person, obviously, we can tell immediately, is Maisie Williams.
Yeah.
Is robbing a car, but they're very deep a carriage.
Yeah.
Being a highwayman, along the coach roads she did ride, sword and pistol by her side. And now we're gonna get content ID. Yeah.
But yeah, and also Maisie Williams has got her voice, and it's very deep, and that's
Clearly
because-
dubbed over.
dubbed over clearly, but her insistence that that's a skill you can learn in 100,000 hours is excellent.
Yeah. So she is trying to steal from this person, and the doctor interrupts, and he kind of argues with her a little,
Yeah.
and the carriage gets away. She's like, well, so she goes back to her mansion that she now has
Yeah.
to pack up because she assumes they're going to leave. She's going to leave with the doctor,
Yeah.
but turns out the doctor's really not here for her. He's just kind of here. Finds out he's looking for his for something. Like he's looking for a thing
Alien
with his,
doohickey.
an alien doohickey with his curio scanner. It scans for curios. I just realized where I got its name. Which is a good variant of a thing that was like a very common David Tennant joke, which was
I don't remember it.
Well, I mean, it's the sort of thing that would be a David Tennant joke. Would be him going,
Yeah.
"This is my curio scanner. It scans for curios." And the joke is that it's really obviously named.
Yeah.
But here the joke's like,
But he's aware of it, yeah.
The joke.
That is true.
Here, like even I referenced a sort of similar thing was, "This is my thing detector. It goes bing when there's stuff." And this time Capaldi just like, oh, that's why they call it a curio scanner.
He's not in on the. He's not making a joke. He's not being silly on purpose.
Yep.
He's legitimately
Just real
surprised.
Yeah. So turns out he and Maisie Williams. I'm sorry, he and Lady Me.
Yeah.
In this case, even more, I'm not seeing Maisie Williams in there at all.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to Maisie Williams as Arya Stark. And I'm not seeing any of that in this character.
No.
So Lady Me and the Doctor they're looking for the same thing. They're looking for this amulet. We find out that Lady Me is working with some sort of lion person.
Yeah. With glowing eyes. Ooh, very cool effect.
Great effect. The lion guy was good.
And then the light glowing eyes go away, and he looks kind of bad.
Yeah.
But it looked great when it was just.
I mean, even with
It was sort of like the idea of a jungle creature, this like weird imposing glowing eyes, and like
he wasn't.
he's like
He wasn't
iconic.
good. He wasn't a great effect, but he looked fine to me.
Yeah. But I love the way he looked before he was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, working with this lion.
Working with the lion. Apparently he wants the thing. She
Wants
goes.
the alien doohickey.
She goes. They steal the alien doohickey.
Yeah.
Fun little scene with some shenanigans.
Oh yeah, there is one thing that matters that you've forgotten, which is that she assumes that they're going to leave afterward, and specifically, he's reluctant to do it. And she's like, okay, well, will you let me on if I help you get this doohickey?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's all about, the whole story is about Lady Me. I can't believe I have to keep saying that name. Lady Me wanted to get on the Doctor's TARDIS.
Yep. And showing like seems to have some information that he's suspicious about her having.
Yep, she knows a little bit too much about him.
Yep. So they go out, they have some good shenanigans, they steal the thing.
The security in the place they steal from is so terrible.
Yep.
It's great.
There's a little bit of the, I want to kill them, they'll die quickly. Yeah, but
Like, don't kill them like amoral Lady Me. If you kill them, you'll make an enemy of me. Or he said that later, but you know.
yeah. And then they go back, and then they run into some highwaymen, including Sam Swift the Quick.
Oh, he's special.
And they have a bit of banter, and
The Doctor says he doesn't approve of
the
banter.
Doctor is anti-banter. I'm on the record with my position about banter. So that was very good.
And there's a really funny scene where they keep each one of them, Sam Swift the Quick and Lady Me are fighting each other, and each one is always like setting themselves up like the scene is over, like they've really triumphed, and literally just an instant later, they get taken back, and there's another turnabout.
Yeah,
and it happens like 8 times or something.
it's great,
and it's really funny because Because each of them thinks that they're in charge of the scene, but neither one is actually in charge.
Yeah, it's really great. It's wonderful. So they go on. They have then they go back. The doctor finds out what her plan is.
Yeah.
That she's going to kill her servant, who's a very nice, doddering old man.
Yeah.
She's going to kill her little old man servant and use his death to open a hole in reality.
With the doohickey.
Yeah, and this is where the doctor gets attacked by the lion.
Yeah.
Good bit of dialogue.
He's a lion king of sorts.
Because I'm just going to have to call him Simba.
So he is a sovereign from some other planet, and he got exiled or something.
Yep, he is. As you say, he is Simba. So then some guards rush in, and they're like, Sam Swift the Quick was captured, and he's going to be hanged. And she's like, okay, look, he's about to die anyway, like literally in half an hour. I'll use his death since he was going to die.
And I'll just leave you here tied up.
Yep, and the doctor's not cool with that.
Yeah.
But she leaves, some people come in and through shenanigans, let the doctor go. Bribery. He bribes them with almost, I know where she keeps all her money, almost £30.
Yeah.
Well, I could even believe them letting him go for £30, but the idea that a rich person would have almost £30 for all her money.
Yeah. With a huge, I mean, I don't know, I just don't know, like, currency for that era at all.
I mean, even if you get big, like, it's not like they kept that much money in banks then as they do now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, today, if I were to take all the money in Bill Gates' house, I'd probably have like $5,000. Because he probably doesn't keep that much on it. If I were to take all the money in 17th century Bill Gates' house, take it to like modern terms, I'd probably have like, a good couple $1 million. Mm-hmm. Maybe like $100 million, but not all of it. There's still a lot in the bank. Mm-hmm. But you don't have a card. You can't pay for stuff by credit card and all that.
Yeah.
So
you need the cash.
Yeah. Nobody at that time could say, no, I don't carry cash, I'm sorry. So, anyway, after that, there's shenanigans, the doctor gets out. Sam Swift is basically stalling for time.
Important scene.
Yeah, this is a very important scene. This is near the climax of the story, really.
Yeah.
So this is where the scene gets, like, so he's stalling for time, he's telling jokes to the crowd.
And they love him.
Yeah, to try to keep from being hanged for just another couple minutes. So he tries to keep coming up with more jokes.
Gallows humor at the most literal, and he does a very good job of keeping it up, because I didn't know how many gallows jokes could be in a person.
Yeah, and then the doctor shows up. And he joins in the fun.
Yep.
And it's clearly he is not joining in the fun because he thinks these are funny jokes. He just tried to stall for time.
Yeah, literally, he needs to stall for time when he gets to the stage.
Yeah, like, doctor. He's like, hey, it's the doctor. Doctor, I'm a robber. And he realizes, are you taking anything for it? Like, they just go back and forth up to the stage.
Yeah.
And that is this hugely important scene for the theme of the episode, because he only has, as far as he and anyone else there knows, a minute or two left.
Yeah.
But he is going to milk that extra minute for all it's worth.
And Macy Williams, Lady Me, as we'll talk about after this, has been talking about how life is just worthless.
Yeah, because everyone dies.
Yeah, everyone dies. What does it matter if
At this point, even when he admit he's about to die.
I could shoot anyone at any time. They die anyway. Yeah. So it's morally nothing to me. So anyway, he reaches the stage.
Yep. And so he's able to convince get the hangman not to kill this guy with a pardon from Oliver Cromwell and the psychic paper.
Yeah. He's been using it more lately.
Yes, I approve.
Yeah.
I like the psychic paper.
Always cool doohickey.
I like it. I like it better than I like the sonic screwdriver a lot, because the sonic screwdriver seems to be a way to get out of a problem. Often,
whereas the psychic paper is to prop us up in a specific position.
The psychic paper allows.
It's rare for the psychic paper to be a Deus ex machina.
Yeah, the psychic paper never gets you really out of a situation, so much as it allows the story to continue. without having to ask, like, aren't they going to ask for his identification if he shows up and says... Because before the Doctor would also show up and say, yes, I'm an inspector for the Ministry of Inspection.
Yeah. Before the psychic paper.
Yeah. And, like, this allowed... Because, you know, it seems more like a fair tool than the sonic screwdriver. Because the sonic screwdriver, we don't know what it can do.
Yeah,
we don't know the extent of a sonic screwdriver's abilities. It seems to do literally anything that isn't affecting wood.
Mm-hmm.
Or a deadlock seal. So
funny stuff.
Yeah. But the paper, we know exactly what it can do. It can provide convincing credentials, but it can't override someone's judgment.
Mm-hmm.
All it can do is give you, like, if you show me the psychic paper, I will believe you have credentials that show you to be an FBI agent.
Of course, it still doesn't mean that they will believe that these are real credentials.
Yeah.
Just that they believe that that is what you're showing them physically.
Yeah. And sometimes it leads to people, like, assuming ridiculous things are true, like assuming that,
I'm your worst nightmare. that was not David Tennant. Go ahead.
That David Tennant is, like, the king of Sweden.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was, like, when in the TV episode, like, he was some royal person. I think it was, for some reason I thought it was supposed to be the king of Sweden. Like, he showed, while he was climbing, he was like, here, I could go climb up this tower. He's like, Your Majesty, aren't you supposed to be at the coronation? Maybe he thought he was the the Queen of England. But, I like when also the Doctor doesn't know what the psychic paper is going to show.
Yes, because he doesn't know what to show, so he prompts their imagination.
Yeah.
Anyway, people at home probably already know that, but I think it's great. I think psychic paper has given us some great times over the years.
He gets to the front of the stage, and he's there with,
Lady Me.
He's there, Lady Me's at the stage, and
Cat.
Sam Swift is at the stage, and the cat is just trying to get this guy hanged. Now the Doctor said he won't be hanged, the people want the Doctor hanged. Things are basically going to shit, and Lady Me slams the pendant on Sam Swift the Quick's chest.
Very quickly.
Yep. Haha!
Oh, it died as you lived quickly.
And he dies, and now he opens a portal to space.
Mm-hmm.
And there's now some aliens from space who are coming in to attack. And she's like, I thought you said I'd get out of here. And Simba is like, I did in death.
Yeah. He doesn't have much imagination.
No.
Nor is he a particularly memorable villain. But he did the job.
Well, because Lady Me was the villain of the episode.
True.
It's just she kind of has a little face turn at the end.
Yep.
So now they realize they need to protect her, protect the people here.
Yeah.
So they're
firing like lasers or something, or like crashing something.
Yep. So the Doctor immortalizes. So he puts like the last.
Specifically, Lady Me.
Lady
Me does
Me.
it because it's her decision. Because she's had this chip to make someone immortal all these years.
Yeah. So she does it to undo Sam Swift the Quick's death.
Yeah. So now that he's dead, the death-based doohickey fails.
Yep.
And I didn't get this.
Yeah.
Why would Simba vaporize? I couldn't hear.
He was, from basically what I could tell, he wasn't really like the king or anything.
Yeah.
This was a cover.
So, but why did
Simba was the advanced force, and he failed in his mission to bring about this invasion.
And he vaporized himself.
No, they vaporized him. He was pleading to not be vaporized, which fits into the theme.
Yes, of stalling for time till then.
Yeah, he was like, no, please, don't, my brethren, And he dies. So, rip Simba.
Yeah.
R.I.P. And 1994 to 1657.
But let's see. You've got that was the purple, the purple line of light into the sky, bring the color of death, which I thought was
the
stupidest line.
Yeah, that was the line I just laughed out loud. He's like the Sam Swift dies opening the portal through this purple beam, and he's like, purple, the color of death.
What the hell is he talking about?
And then he's like, it gets fixed, like, and now there's a gold beam. He's like, the color of immortality.
Did he say that?
Something like that.
I didn't hear that, but I think you must be right. Yes, no, he said that. I remember now.
Yeah, I know.
And then you see, the thing is, I saw the Simba like evaporate, and I thought that becoming immortal had killed him. I was like, what are they, like death itself? Like, did I miss something?
That was a little corny bit at the end there, as you could tell. But then there's sort of the last scene taking place in a tavern. It reminded me a lot of but the scene, he gets up and he makes some more gallows humor jokes and he goes to get more people. And this last scene reminded me a lot of Neil Gaiman's Sandman.
Oh, yeah, I haven't read it.
Because you're famous for your hatred of Neil Gaiman.
I just haven't read it.
I'll lend it to you.
Oh, cool.
Because there's a good scene which takes place in a tavern between Dream and an immortal.
Hit me with it.
Dream or Death.
Or hit me with it insofar as it affects the episode, or relates to it.
In so much as it affects the episode is the immortal, might have been with Death actually, one of the two, I can't quite remember, is immortal until such a time as he decides he's tired of being immortal, is what I think it was. And they meet every century in the same place, in the same tavern, to have a drink and to ask if you're ready to die yet. The immortal's still not ready to die. But that's not the main point of the story. And it's a good story. But it's set in the same sort of setting, at like this little back table in a tavern. It looks the same. It's between these two very characters in sort of similar places. And basically what happens here is Lady Me is like, Lady Me basically establishes that she is going to look out for all the people that the Doctor leaves behind.
Which is a necessary thing, obviously.
Yeah. So
assuming he's not going to live on Earth, he's always going to be leaving time periods behind, because there's with the vastness of time, of course, he's never going to be most places.
Yeah.
At most times.
Yeah. Yeah. She's going to watch out for all the people left behind, and then go to the future. The Doctor's playing on his guitar.
Incidentally, it doesn't look like Sam the Swift the Quick. Sam Swift the Quick is going to be immortal.
Yeah, well, actually, it kind of looked like it would, because the Doctor is like, she's like, so, Doctor, is he going to be immortal? Do you want him to be? I don't think I want anyone to be.
Yeah.
No, he's it's probably the energy of the death is so great that it brought him back, but couldn't really keep him around.
But I'm
Are
not
you
sure
making that up? Yeah.
He didn't say yes.
We kind of acknowledged it.
He wasn't sure.
Oh yeah. Well, no, he was unsure. Oh, it was maybe.
Yeah,
Are you making that up? Maybe.
Maybe. It came off to me more like him thinking, well, that could be the case. It would be funnier if he was just lying.
Yeah, I got the impression he was lying. But Sam Swift doesn't appear to have made it. On the other hand, one, he can still die.
Yeah.
It's just he's kind of stuck around. It's just he can't age.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't age or die,
some sort of healing factor. Right?
Yeah, you can't age or die from disease, and you've got eventually, if you hang around long enough, you'll be okay. But you can't get shot in the face. Yeah. You won't be Jack Harkness. Though he does name drop Jack Harkness.
Yeah, because sort of, I guess they felt they kind of had to.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was she doesn't have. There's no other immortals, and I think it was kind of relevant for him to acknowledge there is another immortal, because all of a sudden Doctor Who wants to have continuity. Man, so can we go back? So
they're doing that a bit.
Yeah, what is this continuity thing? I'm unused to it. I disapprove. In my day,
nothing should change about Doctor Who ever.
In my day, no, everything should change constantly, and therefore nothing will ever make sense.
So then, of course, there's the one final scene.
Yeah, the final scene where Clara shows up and she's like, she gives the Doctor a good, a little selfie she and her student took. And the Doctor notices Ashilda in the selfie.
Yeah, they're in the background, being very creepy.
Watching Clara, but she didn't really come off as creepy to me. Because she just said she's gonna go, literally just keep an eye on people, so if they start to get melancholy about not having the Doctor. Was basically the idea.
It's sort of unclear exactly what she means to do.
Yeah, and Sam Swift the Quick wasn't there. As far as we can tell, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they had that actor just stand around in the background as well and not get zoomed in on. But also, maybe
Maybe they're not.
maybe he
friends
died, or maybe they're not friends. Maybe he was just not literally standing in the frame of that selfie.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
good episode.
good story.
Final thought, my final thought's also on the Doctor, which is what I said I'd get back to. He's really kind of been softened a little since last season,
Yeah.
and I think it's been a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I kind of like a dark, angry, grumpy Doctor,
It was good for contrast.
it was, and at the same time, I mean, this is weird to say about Capaldi, but he kind of wasn't a... He himself was charismatic, but the character wasn't that charismatic. Even at his worst, the Doctor's at least a little likable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've heard the Sixth Doctor audio,
Yeah.
and you can, he still seems kind of likable, even when he's an egotistical asshole who's just grumpy at everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen the first Doctor, he's an asshole.
Yeah. He's
But-
terrible.
He's always got some charisma to him.
I don't know. First Doctor can be pretty bad.
At
Depends
times.
on the story.
Yeah. Like, when he's done right, he
Yeah.
has at least a little bit of that sort of grandfatherliness. You know, he's an old curmudgeon, he's not just...
I'll give them some time for not knowing what they were trying to do at first.
Yeah.
Ignoring those episodes, he is sort of likable.
Yeah. So, and Capaldi has softened enough that even though he's still... he's not as much of an asshole to the companion, which I think does a lot to make him seem a little nicer. Just on the grounds that the companion is who we see the Doctor through the eyes of, we're sort of, even if we don't see ourselves as Clara Oswald, or Donna Noble, or Rose Tyler, or Black Rose Tyler, then we still see the Doctor mostly interacting with that person. So the Doctor being an asshole to random newbie doesn't matter as much. So he's nicer to Clara,
Yep.
which I think does it, and he's charismatic, he's a little more likable, which I think does a lot to bring him back to a character we can work with.
Yeah.
I would like to see a little more of the little bit more of the arguing that they'd had before, just because I really liked the "do as you're told" sort of
yeah.
catchphrase.
And then they got rid of
Which we
that.
haven't seen, but I thought that was that was basically like his catchphrase. Their mutual catchphrase is telling the other one "do as you're told."
Sometimes I feel like Doctor Who, there's some sort of break in time within the context of the series between the seasons, because it feels like they're coming back and things have changed somehow.
Yeah. Well, there canonically was in this one.
Yeah, but there could be equally large amounts of time passing between other adventures.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like it's true for a lot of seasons. Like
Yep.
they lose catchphrases or gain catchphrases,
Yeah.
or something even more important.
I loved this season.
It's good.
And
there have been no bad stories.
yeah.
For
So,
instance.
anything else we can add about this story? So I just
Sure.
had great fun.
Let me think about some of my complaints. That last action scene was very difficult to follow. Most of the shots which had problems were, oh, I know that this shot is supposed to be something blowing up and someone getting hurt.
Yeah.
However, it still was troubling to just literally not know what I was looking at because the cuts were too shaky and too fast.
Yeah.
Other thing, I do hate it when the characters tried to speak too cleverly, and there were like 3 or 4 or 5 things where, where Lady Me is like, "You are what happened to me, Doctor, and now I am trapped within my own life," or like these sort of like one-linery, "Oh, woe is me" lines.
Yeah.
There are too many of them, and they consistently took me out whenever they happened. But they
I will give you
absolutely
that.
they could not distract me from the fact that the total vision of the story was such a good one.
I didn't have any problem with it.
Yeah.
Like I was never taken out by those lines. Perhaps I frequently find myself in situations where where I feel like I really want to say that to someone. So,
But
it's
so unconvincing to see someone say it. It like, has to be like the cleverest like thing for me to be okay with someone trying to talk like that, because like the people, it just seems strange to me.
It doesn't bother me because I believe especially this person, that there are people who can talk like that. Because I can frequently think of these lines and I just never say them because I'm worried about upsetting people and stuff. So the fact that I frequently had not necessarily brilliant lines, but like I'm able to think of quick responses that fit for that, allow me to see somebody do that on screen and not think, oh. And maybe this is just because I live life as a dialogue writer. So I'm writing, I'm immediately coming up with what is it my character would say in this situation. Then I'm like, wait, no, I'm not going to say that. So, because I my strength in writing is dialogue.
Well, all it takes, from my perspective, to convince me that a dialogue choice is acceptable, or at least push me in that direction, is having one other person who says, actually, that seems fine to me. Because I don't know that my experience, my own opinion, is necessarily going to be universal, or that something that seems strange to me is actually truly strange.
Yeah.
So those are my thoughts on that. I guess one other thing that we forgot to talk about is the fact that she has a library of her own memories, and
I love that.
And it's great, and she tears out pages when she doesn't like them, and just the whole thing of her being a parallel to the Doctor.
Yep.
But she doesn't have the long memory, which is strange.
So she doesn't even know the name of Shielda.
Yeah, she doesn't know her original name. So, this is another person taking the journey through infinity. This is what But
they don't have the advantages, and they have to do it the long way.
Yeah. And just sort of generally, a lot of things worked. Like the fact that she's on her own, because the whole bitterness thing, and that's the opposite. The Doctor is always...
The Doctor always has a companion. She has a little old servant who she clearly doesn't respect or care for.
Yeah. But, his answer was to constantly be, like after bad breakups, looking for someone new. Certain people just need to have. And not romantic, I hope, because I don't want Doctor romances.
Yeah,
but
I can't stand those.
But, regardless, a certain kind of personality can't stand to not have that person fill that role. Whereas, in this case, Lady Me has decided she can't stand having anyone in that role. Mm-hmm. And that's where they're different.
Yep. I thought it was good. There was so much that was good there.
Yeah. I probably think of something else to say about Lady Me, but...
I love the idea of characters with external memories, basically. Mm-hmm. Like this, I have a character who has appeared in some of my writing who keeps his memories. For him, it's his entire race of people have external memories. He keeps it, things work metaphorically for him, so he keeps it in the form of a cigarette. So when he will find the cigarette which has the experience to relive it.
Well, does he have to put it out, or he'll lose it forever?
It's magic, man.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how that works.
I'm just the author.
None of the characters ever asked that question. I'm the one who gets to control if they ask it.
Fair enough. Any other thoughts? I'm wrapped up. Like I said, probably could think of something more to say about Lady Me, but it's fine to leave it as it is.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. Final grade?
Final grade? A-.
I'll keep about an A.
Cool.
Might even, if we do a group grade at the end of the series, I might even, at the end of the season, this might end up an A+ for me. Mm-hmm. This has been one of the best Doctor Who stories I've seen. Yeah. The only thing that would keep it from being an A+ is that, I might feel like I have to save A+ for things that are also count as great seminal works of science fiction.
That's where I am for this story too. That's where I'm giving it the out of things of all time, not just Doctor Who. This is a 93% as a story of any kind.
Yeah, the only thing stopping it is that even if this is a great Doctor Who story, even if this is a great story, it may not have the weight of something either of a Genesis of the Daleks, or the weight of something like the Harlan Ellison Star Trek story, because I think it's fair to hold this to general science fiction standards.
Otherwise, we'd be disrespecting it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say it needs to be like Star Trek. in that, or like Asimov, in that it needs to have like a certain approach to science fiction. But as far as like its impact, both on me and so yeah, it may not have like the weight of some of these great works of science fiction, but maybe I'm gonna decide it does later. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, A-, A.
Bye bye.
See ya.